joining me. It's another edition of the program. It is Guest of the Week. I'm delighted to have you with me. My name is Jane Madowabuna. The saying goes that too many of us are not living our dreams. Why? Because we are living our fears. Today on this edition, I have someone in the house as my guest. Let me quickly take you through his educational background. He attended Community Primary School, Akko, to obtain his first school leaving certificate, and this was between 1971 to 1976. From there, he attended Uzuwani Secondary School at Dani between 1976 and 1981 to obtain his General Certificate in Education, O-Level. His first degree, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, was obtained at the University of Benin, Benin City, between 1981 and 1985. For his master's degree, this was also obtained at the University of Benin in 1988, and he majored in applied mathematics. He also did a certificate course in computer operations, and this was in 1996. He went ahead for his PhD, and this was also in applied mathematics, modeling this time, and was obtained in 1998 at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. My guest is a professor of mathematics. You'll be meeting him right after this timeout. Stay with me. Welcome back. Time to meet my guest. And let me quickly introduce to you Professor Godwin Christopher Ezike Mba. He's a professor of mathematics, like I told you, and he got his professorship in the year 2009. Welcome to Guest of the Week, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm really delighted to have you with me today. Now, one thing comes to mind. When I went through your CV, it gave me quite a time really reading through it, because it was really very, very long. Now, professor of mathematics. You know, through the years, growing up, when I hear mathematics, there's a lot of fear surrounding it. But for you, you did this to professorship level. First of all, why are students afraid of mathematics?
Well, thank you for bringing me here. First of all, many students are afraid of mathematics because they have very poor background from primary school to secondary school and subsequently. If you check, most people who teach mathematics in secondary school, majority of them never majored in mathematics. You can imagine bringing somebody who read chemistry or somebody who read economics to come and teach mathematics. He cannot give what he doesn't have. They don't have the competence because they didn't even do mathematics while in school, in the universities. But we always think at the school level, secondary school level, that anybody that did sciences can conveniently teach mathematics. And it's not true.
That's a big error.
For example, in my university, University of Nigeria, when my daughter was in primary school, at a stage, I discovered that the teacher was not doing very well in the mathematics. I had to advise the school that from primary 4 to 6, they should select the best maths teacher in the school to run through the classes, instead of allowing teachers who themselves are afraid of mathematics to teach the student mathematics. And the university adopted it, and it's doing very well. Languages and mathematics, they bring special teachers that teach those classes from primary 4, primary 5, primary 6. And so you find out that they learn this thing from a specialist hand, not just for anybody. Like primary school, a teacher teaches all the subjects. I mean, and some of these teachers themselves never passed mathematics. How can they give what they don't have?
Exactly.
So in that case, it makes the students don't even understand what is happening. And what do you expect? When higher things come, they'll be afraid because they didn't have the background.
Okay.
So it's the problem.
We'll really go back to this maybe later in the course of this program today. Now, let's quickly look at your various contributions to the development of humanity through what you have done. You started your career life with teaching at the University of Agriculture, Makurdi. That's what I saw, Benue State, 1989 to 1997.
Sure.
Then you moved on to Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT, 1997 to 1998. And finally, you settled at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, 1998 till date.
Yes.
Good. Now, I know in between you also did offer other services to other universities, visiting prof and things. For you, what has been your contribution in the development of humanity as a lecturer?
Well, the first thing any lecturer will want to do is to, one, replicate himself. Two, to build individuals that will contribute to the society. And your major contribution to humanity is first building the individuals that can diversely contribute to society. I've taught engineering students, I've taught math students, I've taught medical students, I've taught all levels of students. I've equally produced so many students. If you go through my CV, I've produced right now 17 PhDs in various areas of mathematics.
I saw that.
Epidemiology, operational research, climate environment change, and all those things. I've also produced 62 MSc students who are now lecturers in many universities. So we have tried to build people who can practically contribute to the development of society. For example, in University of Nigeria, I know that many of those students in engineering passes through me before they go out. Because at a certain stage of their work, they always have problem of modeling their work. And that is where I come in.
Okay.
And we try to, most of the things we do, we try to bring it practically, put it in mathematics. And we can now diversely look at so many areas or so many ways of analyzing the situation. Instead of going to lab, we can do it on the computer.
Okay.
And so we've tried to affect the life of people by producing people that can work in various ways to ease our life.
As a professor that you are now, when you sit back in your office or even at home, you know, or in the midst of friends, what gives you fulfillment as a lecturer and a professor that you are?
What gives me fulfillment most is that I have produced individuals that if I die today, my legacy continues. That's the greatest thing any lecturer can look out for. To replicate himself, to advance the society beyond what you met it. If you have done that, I hope that person should be happy. Not just, we have not all come here to eat and go. We have come here to change the situation we met to a better one. And I think I have proudly done that.
It's good to know. You've contributed to journal publications. You've done a lot of research. You know, so many of them. There's one I saw, you were researching on, I think, insulin on diabetic patients and things. And I said, what is the place of mathematics, you know, in diabetic patients? But really, most of your research, what is the gain in it for humanity?
Yes, most of my research, as you said, are practical, most especially medical. Like the one you are referring to, that was my PhD research. We tried to look at the contribution of insulin in the cause of diabetes. That was the one I worked on. And I completed that work in 1998. And proudly enough, I'm sure in America they used my model because they built a software on that. And what we just needed to know is your level of insulin in your body, put it in the model. We can tell you practically the quantity of food you have to eat containing certain quantity of glucose, and you will live your life normal.
You were academic advisor in the Department of Mathematics, ISUT, 1998 to 2015. Yes. What were your contributions there?
Well, I left ISUT fully in 1998. But before I left, the then dean insisted that I must sign, that I will be there as a contract staff before she will sign my going. And I had to do that. And I want to tell you that I've been there. And we have tried also, like now, the first 7 students in ISUT that have graduated MSc, I supervised all of them. And I have consistently helped to make sure that ISUT's mathematics department get the accreditation.
Now, you were chairman Departmental Examinations Committee on Computation of Students' Results for UNN 2001 to 2006. Now, sometimes there are mix-ups in these computations, and sometimes you don't even find answer sheets to certain examinations. It does happen. We hear of
Yes,
these things.
yes.
But within the period you were there, 2001 to 2006, how did you ensure that the right things were done?
Well, in our department, we have an order. We have 4 sets, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. We also have exam officers computing each of the level. You are the final. By the time it comes to you at the final, from year 1 to 3 are already there. You only add final years on, and it's complete. It is the duty of the exam officer to search for any student's result that is not there. It's not the student's duty. If, for example, my student doesn't have JS 101, it is my duty to go to GS department and ask for that student's results. And if peradventure that student didn't write the exam, it is my duty also to report to the student, oh, you told me that you did this course when you didn't do it. If he actually did it and the result is not there, we have to work it out. It doesn't need to be the student. Because conventionally, students don't need to touch their results. It is the exam officers that is their job. And where it becomes difficult, you call the attention of the head department. So we have tried as much as possible not to let students unnecessarily suffer because of their result, because their duty is to write the exam. It is our duty to collect the result and then give him his result.
Because we know sometimes they do suffer.
Yes, we know. We know. Really, sometimes, depending on who is there as the exam officer, some people, I've just said the way I did it.
Yes.
Some other person may not do it that way. He might say, you don't have the result, go and look for your result. And he will get there, they will tell him you can't collect the result, go and call the exam officer. And then he will now tell him, I will come when I'm chanced. You see, the student, I've had a case I had to go personally, even though I'm not concerned, because I made the student crying. What's the problem? That my result is not complete. I have taken those exams. So we've seen such cases, and we've been tried as much as possible to assist.
All right. You served as head of Department of Mathematics, UNM,
Yes.
from August 2016 to July 2019. What did you do to make things better at the department?
Well, I was the head of Department of Maths first time 2008, 2009, and later 2016 to 2019. In 2013, I attended a workshop in Ghana where I was invited as a lead speaker in a modeling workshop. After that, I was directed by one professor now working with African Mathematical Union, Professor Wandera Ogana from Kenya, to replicate what we did in Ghana in Nigeria. I came back, I tried to do that. Those in authority then didn't want me to do it because I wasn't the head. So I have to keep my cool. Eventually, when I became head in 2016, that was the first thing I did. That year, October, I organized the first international workshop in mathematical modeling and simulation in University of Nigeria. So the first of its kind in Nigeria. That same year, fortunately, the then Vice Chancellor, Professor Zumba, was so fascinated by that he gave my department the biggest computer lab in University of Nigeria.
Wow.
I have 36 pieces in that lab, fully connected, that you can do your research, any kind of research you want, using computers in that lab till today. Then again, because of fund, we didn't have fund. Then I had to bring other members of the department and ask them, let's try one way. Our students, those who don't even know mathematics, go and write what they call solution sets and sell to students. And when we pick them, we find errors. If the students are ready to buy that, can't we equally write that for them to assist them? It was deliberated in the department, we agreed. And we now wrote what we call manual. We teach you how to solve past questions. We give you test questions, about 100 test questions, and then we give you take-home assignments. And with that now we started generating funds. And the department can, in fact, throughout the period I was the head of the department, I was only given what we call DLTC once. And it was never assessed till I left. But the department ran for 3 years. So we have created a venue where they can raise some little money to run the department.
You're still watching Guest of the Week this day. My guest is still with me. Let's go for a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with me. Welcome back. My guest is still here with me talking about Professor Godwin Christopher Ezike Mba. All right. You have also attended many conferences and workshops in your lifetime.
Yes.
And when professors, bigwigs like you, when you gather and you deliberate on certain research topics, when you come out really, how are these implemented in the society?
The problem of Nigeria is that we have not grown to that system where we look at somebody's research and think it is practical, we can use it. I know some of our colleagues who are abroad in my own discipline, in my own special area. If I'm abroad, I should have as much money as I want because the money will be there. It is this applied area of mathematics, more especially the bio aspect of mathematics, that attract the greatest funds all over the world.
You've also offered services to other relevant bodies. I saw one with the Ebonyi State government as member Education Review Committee. What did you do there?
Yes, at the time, the Governor Leji felt that their education system in Ebonyi, that something is wrong with it. He set up a group to look at what the problem is. So we toured all the major zones, all the major schools in Ebonyi State. My duty in that committee was to mathematically analyze the raw data we collected. You'll be able to say, these schools are doing this, these schools are not doing this, do this to advance this, you know. So that was what I did. By the time we collected the data, I sat down. The rest were resting. I had to do the mathematics of the whole thing. So that was the...
For your community, you've also rendered services. I saw Chairman ACO General Assembly. What has been your contribution also there?
Well, I've been in the leadership of the town for a very long time. So as a chairman of ACO General Assembly, I've tried to make sure that there is unity in the town. And that wherever problem comes, you won't say, I'm not from that section, I won't go. You must do and get it done.
Yes.
And where it becomes difficult, you call those who are outside. And fortunately for us in that town, we think there is no problem that is beyond us, both financially or otherwise. Just call and people will respond.
You've won many awards of excellence in the course of doing your job. There are many of them. You were awarded certificate of the 159th inaugural lecture of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Award of recognition by the National Association of Physical Science Students. What did you do for them?
Well, in physical sciences is in UNN is made up of 7 departments. I was like a rallying point to most of them, irrespective of what department you are. Once your work involves mathematics, it will end on my table. And I was ever ready to listen to them.
Okay.
So they felt I was helping them so much, and they had to give me the award.
You also got one by postgraduate students, another award of honor from them, University of Nigeria, Nsukka in 2008. I saw that you're a Knight of St. Paul.
Yes.
Anglican Diocese of Nsukka. Yes. 2003, you were honored by the Knights also. All right, looking at you, Prof, you've really succeeded and you're still succeeding in your profession. You're a professor of mathematics. For young people who may be listening to our program today, what are some of the qualities that have helped you to succeed?
Well, for anybody to succeed in maths, you must be prepared to work. You must also be prepared to forgo so many things. You must also be ready to think rationally, because sometimes some works are given to you in which you need to use your own brain and come out with the result before you even can solve. So that of them who have the capabilities of doing mathematics, what we need is from day one, give them that opportunity, give them that forum to do it.
Okay. Young people of today are not very patient when it comes to following rigorously. What's your advice to them? Today, money, comfort is what they are seeing, and they want that instantly. You're a prof, and the pleasures you enjoy now, a graduate of yesterday wants to enjoy the same thing. What do we tell them?
Even my own son, I've always told him, ill-gotten wealth doesn't last. If you run too fast to do anything, you will hit rock before soon. So when you take time to build yourself, this wealth will come naturally. Many of them want things now and now, and it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like that. We've always tried to encourage them. Be patient. Follow things in good way. At the end of it, you are going to still be rich.
That's it on this edition of the program, Guest of the Week. My guest in the house has just summarized his thoughts. He says for young people, it is important you be patient, remain focused, and please be hardworking. And for contentment, it is important you understand that riches doesn't mean you must own the entire world. Be contented with what you have, and that way you will be happy. I want to thank you, Prof, for making time to be in the studio today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, next week I'll still be here. Ensure that you keep tuning in to watch this program. I am Jane Madwabuna. Bye-bye.
I just want your papers, please.
Sir.
Salary don't enter. Yes, sir. And month I never even reach safe. Na salary plenty, oh. No wonder I no gree collect roja for my hand. Shut up, sir. I'm here to bail my younger brother.
If it happen.
With good laws,
Proper funding, training,
and cooperation.
if it happen.
Spreading of false and misleading information is capable of threatening the peace and security of the country. Most civil laws are caused by fake news. A whole community can be wiped out as a result of fake news. The spirit of chaos and crisis arising from fake news is not good for our country. Don't believe everything you read. Don't spread fake news. Fake news kills. Avoid it.
Classico. I tell you, my 3 points is clear. Yes. They go watch match. Okay, what do you want me to do about it? Give us light. That's the only thing you've been saying since you came into my office. Maybe your work be that. No, it's my work, but see.
Our government fit do their work if we sef do our own work. No just sit down. Carry wetin dey worry you go meet who suppose solve am.
spreading of false and misleading information is capable of threatening the peace and security of the country. Most civil wars are caused by fake news. A whole community can be wiped out as a result of fake news. The spirit of chaos and crisis arising from fake news is not good for our country. Don't believe everything you read. Don't spread fake news. Fake news kills. Avoid it.